listening to the Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast.
Hi everybody, happy summer, and summer means SummerSlam, and SummerSlam means Pickasode, and Pickasode means hopefully someone takes that title up that sumbitch Amber / Pat, and everything can be right with the world again. So let's go ahead and get this shit show on the road. I'm angry, I'm loud, I'm volatile. I'm going to swear at these clowns because fuck them and all of their hopes and dreams. Welcome to the Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast. I'm Rick McRansom, and I'm mad. Tiger Bomb Tom is here. Poot the Bar is here. Shut the hell up, you. And Beef, the chooser of all boozers, is here as well. And we have SummerSlam picks to choose. And I didn't bring any paper. I'm not writing anything down. I'm not going to remember what number I picked. I'm going to pick Rhea Ripley for every single one. I don't care if she's not in CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre with Seth Rollins as a special referee. I'm picking Rhea Ripley as a run-in to win, bitch. Let's go.
You had a very cornet flair there.
Motherfucker.
There you go. Hi, everybody. It's been a minute. I mean, we did our sit around and talk cast last week. Did that get posted? I don't know.
That'll
No,
get
I
posted
didn't.
the week of the beach.
Okay.
As long as, freaking, brittle bone syndrome over here puts it in the stupid drive.
I see.
I'll be there. Calm down.
I'll be there. I don't want you in the drive. I want the freaking episode.
You can't always get. Well, you're gonna get it anyway. All right, go.
Well, yeah, let's do some SummerSlam picks. Before
Drew McIntyre, 12 points.
There's 7. Before we do
12
that,
points. Eat me.
okay. Here are our standings
We don't need them.
based upon the last
Don't want
2 events. Let
wanna
me
hear
get them more. Well, you're
Should
gonna.
have been prepared.
I just get them
Burning
side by
daylight.
side, man. Jesus Christ.
Run it
All
back.
right, so at
2
the
hours
top
more.
is a
Do it again.
hello, Larry Wells. At the top we have a 3-way tie.
Giggity.
Nope, that's a lie. At the top we have a 1-man tie.
Wow.
That 1-man tie is our boy Poot the Bard, baby.
Put the board, baby.
Much like his love life, it won't last.
Yep.
Jesus, with 32 points.
Both barrels.
Followed then by the 3-person tie with our illustrious Tiger Bomb Tom, Pat, not the champ, but kind of maybe also the champ, with 28 points, and me, Beef the Legend with 28 points, Beef the Legend with 28 points.
Tom? Tom?
Yo.
What?
Tom?
Yeah.
What about Tom?
You're there. You're up there. Pat is gonna lose. He's gonna duff it somehow. You got to stay up there. Beef is gonna get so wound up in beating Amber that he's gonna do something stupid.
Yeah.
You got to stay up there.
I'm trying, man.
You got to bring it home. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
Don't count on me to do anything but lose. So you've got to stay up there.
Well,
The fuck am I? Chopped liver?
I'm as confident in you as I am in myself. We're not good, and we're not going to make it. Tom, he's got to stay up there.
with all the due respect, Rism, you have 27 points. So you're right.
Help me,
there.
Tommy
You're right
One
there in the
Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Then we do have our champ mired in mediocrity where she belongs at 25. Dave at 22,
Wow.
who said, I don't know shit about NXT and proved it. And Scoob at 17, a respectable 17.
This is the best he's done so far.
This is
Great job,
yeah,
It's the most events he's picked in one quarter.
that's accurate as well. He
Love you, Scoob.
He had 12 points. He had 12 points in NXT, which was 1 point less than Tom. So
Wow,
he's there,
all right.
man. Like he's he needs the. I believe in Scoop.
Joe Hendry.
So there's that too. But
I believe
there's
in
our
Scoop
standings.
Hendry.
We are going to be picking SummerSlam. what do they call it? The biggest party of the summer.
Yep.
The biggest block party of the summer. It's
The
gone by many
gestalt of the
names.
summer.
However, Jerry Lawler wants to yell it. I'm sure they'll, fucking exhume his remains and have him call it the biggest party of the summer. Please. Yes, I know that Jolly Lawler's not dead. I'm aware. Don't
Jolly
come
Lawler.
at me.
Dolly Parton.
The Jolly Lawler.
The Dolly.
Oh no.
Dolly Lawler. Him and not his real name Jinder Mahal can team up together. Modern day Maharaja and the Jolly Lawler Jolly Roger.
The Jolly Roger Lawler.
We got 7 matches,
Top
meaning
points. Drew McIntyre.
7 points to be wagered. In the order that we're picking, Logan Paul defends against LA Knight for the United States Championship.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn defends against Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental Championship. Bayley defends against Nia Jax for the WWE Women's Championship. CM Punk takes on Drew McIntyre in a singles match where Seth freaking Rollins will be the special guest referee.
Franken.
Liv Morgan defends the World Women's Championship against Rhea Ripley. Cody Rhodes defends the WWE title versus Solo Sikoa, and Damian Priest defends the WWE World Championship against Gunther. Stacked card. This is legit, I think, a WrestleMania level card without
Party of the summer, baby.
Without all the fucking part-time interlopers.
Fucking interlopers.
Lot of opportunity for legit title changes. Like many.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's always a lot of title matches, but I could really see a lot of titles changing hands at this pay-per-view.
You gotta love when an event does that though, because everything feels viable. It's not just this is obvious it's going to change hands. Everything feels like a viable contest.
Yeah.
And for the first time and as long as I can remember, a PLE that's not WrestleMania has had all of the major singles titles defended.
As I say, every match except the one is a title match. So,
and one would argue that match is the hottest thing that they have going right now. So, again, it's very clear that they view Mania 1, SummerSlam 2.
Rumble
now
3,
the SummerSlam's getting the WrestleMania treatment of being in the football stadiums. Going to 2 nights in 2 years. Who knows?
Oh, it's 2 nights?
Yeah, Minnesota.
It's going to be 2 nights?
Yeah, 2026. Yeah. Minnesota's getting it because I believe the rumor mill.
They were supposed to get Mania next year.
Yeah,
they were supposed to get Mania 41, and they got shafted by Vegas.
Yeah, and then the Rumble is going to be in Indianapolis for
Indianapolis.
For the next year and year after or something, or I can't remember.
Old tumbling Rumble.
Well, so they signed an agreement for the Indy Fieldhouse, whatever it's called, Safeco Field. No, is it Safeco? I don't know. The Colt Stadium.
Safe pass
to have the Rumble, Mania, and SummerSlam. Not all necessarily in that year,
right,
but having those 3 big events. So it may not be necessarily 2 consecutive Rumbles, but I think that we're gonna definitely see some. And again,
wow.
That's what I'm saying. This is good news. This is
major
great.
Plays.
I think that I think the old man was afraid to really let the business strut for fear of failure, because he didn't want something to not go over well and it be on him.
But
is good.
I was going to say, that's the difference is Triple H isn't afraid that something isn't going to go over and being able to pivot off of it. McMahon, I think, just by his insane brain, he thought anything that didn't work was a cataclysmic failure.
Yep.
Right.
and we all know what
proof's in the pudding. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was gonna make some sort of dumb joke, but it's fine. It's good.
But I think proof is in the pudding in that you saw what happened with Mania. I wholeheartedly believe that if Vince hadn't sold the company and he was still in charge, we would not have seen a pivot away from Rock and Roman. Regardless of how much the fans would have shat on that would have gone 100% through. They would have never, ever pivoted on that. Never.
Nope.
Yep.
Can confirm.
But I do enjoy the fact that I'm hoping that they keep Mania going as 2-night things, and I don't mind SummerSlam being a 2-night thing as well too. Like that's not terrible. So.
No, I look forward to that.
I don't want to see every major PLA do this. Like I don't want to see Rumble be 2 nights.
Yeah.
I think you keep Mania and SummerSlam like your 2 big spectacles. Like these 2 events were the events that the WWF was built on.
Yeah.
You keep them special. If you want to start opening it up and putting these other PLEs into like bigger stadiums like football fields, that's fine. Whatever. I don't that's cool by me. But like the whole 2-night thing, I think should absolutely be reserved for Mania and SummerSlam because again, I think that they are like pivotal points in the year. Like yes, the Royal Rumble is important, and Survivor Series is always fun. But like when you look at like the days that pivot the industry, the days that pivot WWE, it's always been Mania and SummerSlam. Like those are your 2 pivot points of the year,
right? Because like once you hit SummerSlam, then you're about like 6 months plus out until your next big payoff or whatever for Mania. Because let's be honest, like everything in the fall, you want to build up to Mania. And granted, some storylines you can build in a month or 2. Some you want to let cook a little bit longer, like maybe Survivor Series or from SummerSlam. But either way, ultimately, like you said, like Mania is the reset point. Like that's generally when you wrap up your big stories. And then night after you start anew. So, or in the case of Punk and Drew and Seth, this whole fucking bickering love triangle there, it's gone from like essentially Survivor Series when Punk returned, leading up through now. So, but
let them cook. Let them cook. They've been killing it.
Well, and that's the other thing is that like you said, just with the timelines, they seem to be telling more robust stories in general. And yeah, like I like that's absolutely correct that like they need to have that. Like once you get into the fall, you got to start laying or at least planting the seeds for those long-term like payoff at Mania moments.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Like day after Survivor Series starts the road to WrestleMania. And I know that's crazy. That's like talking about the Christmas rush in July, but like it's a fact that like especially if you're into the whole long-term thing, like that's when you start. And I'm not saying that like you march The Rock out the night after Survivor Series and he's like, Cody Rhodes, I'm coming for your title. Like, okay, we don't need to go that hard that quick, but you start planting those seeds. So. But yeah, I mean, obviously, like I said, this is shaping up to be a banger. I'm a little remiss that I won't be there, especially being with it being in the backyard. But once again, timelines didn't work, and that's fine.
Man,
like
fuck the ticket prices on SummerSlam. I'm telling you, like I was thinking about going to, and like even for the cheap seats, I was like, no thanks.
I've heard they were $200 for the nosebleeds.
Fuck that shit.
But to put it into perspective, if we are considering SummerSlam an event on par with WrestleMania, which I think has been kind of the consensus here. For 2 nights at WrestleMania in the upper deck, I was spending $600. So like that's right on par with what Mania tickets would be. So like, yes, on one hand, like it sucks, because that is a lot of money to just kind of down on one night with it not being WrestleMania. But at the same time, I think, honestly, starting in Nashville, it really started feeling pretty special. SummerSlam did.
You know, I can't now.
And
now in retrospect, I can't say too much on the ticket price because I'm probably going to be spending that amount this weekend in fucking suit purchase and shit. So you know.
Sure. Well,
but at least I'll get more out of this one.
Yeah, exactly. That's a little bit of a different story. But you know, so again, like we can't say, oh, it's WrestleMania on one hand, but then be like, oh, the tickets are $200. Wow, if it's WrestleMania of the summer, like you can't have it both ways.
Well,
you know,
tell
being there. Yeah, so 7 matches. We're going to start, like I said, with some of the mid-card fodder here. We're going to start with Logan Paul defending the U.S. title against L.A. Knight. Yeah.
Yeah. What?
We don't have a champion on the show, so
Wrong guy, my bad.
choose. Poot, you're leading the standings, buddy, so I'm going to let you have your druthers, man. Who's picking first here?
Horse shit. Oh, you're gonna let me?
Yeah.
Oh, see, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm so used to you just being like, "Fuck you." You start.
Poot, you get to pick. No bullshit. I want to pick. Wait, what?
and I told you the order of the matches. So you know, if you fuck yourself, this is on you, brother.
Well, you know,
it's gonna work for me, brother.
Don't worry, I'll fuck it up.
I know you will.
We're gonna, you know, what we're gonna do. We're gonna have. I want to have the pontificator of pontificators start this one out. Beef, do the honors.
It's really hoping
set the stage. Tell them, Beef.
Okay, so like I'm trying to sidestep the Logan Paul landmine because I think that there's a lot of other shit that it could devolve into. Bottom line is I think he put his foot in shit and I think he stepped in it, and then like he doubled down on it and like tried to like rub it off. Before all of that, before anything had happened with today's tweets, or X's? I don't know what they're called on X. Before today's messages on X, I think that he was probably going to lose anyway. You know, the old hometown tradition, you lose in your hometown. Despite being from fucking like Panama or Guatemala or whatever fuck he claims. You know, he's a Cleveland boy. So I think that we fucking finally get LA Knight some singles gold. Fucking 3 years after the fact, but I'll take it. Give me LA Knight 7 points. New United States champion.
Wow.
Yeah. Poot.
Oh, bud. You're a man after my own heart. You are absolutely a man after my own heart. I really think that this is going to be, you start him off hot, start him off there. Logan Paul losing to LA Knight. I love that because not only does it leave it open that they can continue the story with LA Knight and Logan Paul down the road if they have to, but like you said, it's going to vindicate LA Knight, and the pop is going to be, a Road Warrior pop. People love LA Knight still. He's weathered the, like, you know, not pulling the trigger, or as I like to call it, Ziggling him. I really think that this is the United States Championship is great. He is going to make that belt far more important than it has been. It'll be around more. I think he's going to do well with it, and it'll be a good stepping off point. I am following suit with Beef. I'm saying LA Knight, 7 points.
Ransom?
Oof. I'm always gun shy on LA Knight. Like
with good reason.
I mean, I feel like we've had such confidence before in picking him to win, and it just doesn't happen. But on the same hand, I kind of feel like they're running out of time, and they're going to run out of steam. And if they don't pull the trigger soon, like could there come a time where it's too late for LA Knight? Like, I don't know. He really has weathered the storm of non-title having for such a long time, and he still seems to be very popular. Like, it doesn't seem to be hurting him. But at the same time, like, I just don't know when a better time would be to pull the trigger on him. I really don't. So, yeah, I'm going to have to go with LA Knight. And good, Sonny. I think I'm going to have to throw 7 on it as well, because I just don't know if there's a better time than now. Like, I don't want to say it has to be now, because it doesn't. It doesn't have to be now. But I think it's the best time.
Tom?
I actually made my pick. For once, I did everything like well before the show. Like, I sat down, I don't know, probably like a couple hours ago, and I looked at everything, and I'm with you all on the fact that, well, I think Beef said it, that even before all the chicanery with Logan Paul and everything on X, I would have been going with LA Knight anyways. It's one of those things again that Logan Paul is an attraction. He's not there full time or whatever, and as far as putting the title on him, the fact that they put the US title on him, I think that's about as far as he's going to get. Like, you're not going to see him, you weren't going to see him, being like world champion or anything like that. Unless he had dove in and made the commitment full time. But even more so now, it really just only makes sense to put the title on LA Knight. So I'm going to put, also my 7 points on LA Knight, and I got 2 words for Logan Paul.
You're fired!
Oh, they're not gonna fire him.
I know.
Yeah,
I wanted a reason to use the fucking sound effect.
That was well played, though. Well played, though.
With the brand, what's it called? Synergy. With Prime, he's probably not going anywhere.
Nah.
Even if they could, they're probably going to put him in a humidor for a while to cool him off. Let this shit kind of fade off on its own, as it does, just like with the Ric Flair bullshit and everything else. And bring him back for Mania or whatever, and everybody will forget about it.
Even if people remember it, he'll lean into it, and he'll be even more of a fucking shitty heel. You know what I mean?
All I gotta say is, like, if you watch The Boys, you get it. They could absolutely Homelander this shit with him, and
Yep.
I'm pretty sure that he would still get half cheers. In fact, I'm pretty sure that there would be people cheering him harder because of it. So
The Boys, this season of The Boys went fucking hard.
I still haven't seen the last 3 episodes. No spoilers, but yes, absolutely.
I haven't seen any.
It went fucking hard. Oh
They
boy.
go fucking hard. Moving right along, we are going to look into Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker. Sami Zayn was the Gunther rub, being the dude who dethroned Gunther after a 666-day title reign. Triple H worships the devil. There is your proof.
Oh no.
So Sami Zayn.
The Zayn was gay
Breaker.
from the start.
Bootsky,
you got it. Let's go.
Oh boy. Man. How long has Sami Zayn held this belt?
Since Mania. So about 4 months.
May, June. April, May,
Yeah.
June, and then through July.
Yeah.
Man, they're hot on Braun Breaker.
Not 66 days.
Not 6. Yeah, but I don't. No one's gonna touch that for a while, man. No one's gonna touch that for a while. I honestly, like, I know that it might be a little foolhardy of me to like start what seems to be this pattern, but this one is one of the ones that I'm not entirely certain of. I'm gonna put 2 points on Braun Breaker because they're high on him. He's young. I think Sammy would be okay putting over a younger talent. I don't know. I just have this is a gut feeling, and I'm not going full Putin being like 10,000 points on Braun. Like, but like 2 points on Braun Breaker. I think this could be a night of change. You know what I mean? I think this could be a pivot night. You know, not across the board, but like, I think we're going to see a lot of kind of like, oh, dams. You know what I mean? So I'm 2 points on Braun Breaker.
Somebody remind me after I do my pick that I have a point to talk about with Rick Steiner. Ransom.
Uh-oh.
This is where this pay-per-view starts making me nervous. It's starting here. Because like Poot said, like it really could be a night of change, but like I can't remember the last time we had a pay-per-view where so many titles are defended and I want to pick against the defender.
Pardon me?
Like I feel like I know some of these picks are going to be wrong from the start because there's something there that's like nagging at me going, they're not going to make this many title changes. You think that these many people could lose their titles, but like, are they really going to have that many title changes? That's where this starts to become a little nervous for me. As far as this match goes, I want Braun Breaker to win. Sammy, it was nice to have his moment. You know, he did a lot of really good things when he was involved with the Bloodline. I think that really helped to revitalize Sami Zayn as a character. Then you know, once he was done, it kind of, you know, he started to fizzle again for me. And then he wins the title, and it's like, okay, oh, it's nice. Sami Zayn has his moment. He got a title. Like, all right, he's defended it for a bit. But this match has that, like, Rey Mysterio versus Big Show or Rey Mysterio versus JBL-esque believability factor for me. Like, I get it, stupid. It's wrestling. And I got to keep telling myself that. Hey, dummy, this is wrestling. Like, it's not, you're meant to kind of put the believability aside. But, like, when you look at a Rey Mysterio and a Big Show or a Rey Mysterio versus a JBL, it should be wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, it's done. It should be a no-brainer. You put Rey Mysterio up against Sami Zayn, okay, we got a match. This is tugging at me like that. Like you put Sami Zayn up against Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker should steamroll through him in a matter of minutes. It should be all offense on Braun Breaker. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. It's over. New champion. I don't think that's going to happen. But I can't get this nagging feeling out of me that like they need to put this IC title now on a young guy, an up-and-comer, someone who's got some future, someone who's got a lot of steam behind him. So I also am going to pick Braun Breaker. I'm going to put a one-pointer on Braun. I'm not supremely confident in it. I want it to happen. I think it should happen. But my record is not good. So 1 point.
Mom?
So I'm looking at the card in its entirety, And I also know that SummerSlam has historically kind of been a little bit more leaning towards the heels with the pay-per-view. So the combination of that, looking at the other matches, and also the fact that this is now the second PLE in a row that we're getting Sammy versus Braun, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he made Braun look really strong in the last PLE. They had a great match, with Sammy ultimately coming out on top. But I don't think you put him in back-to-back matches like this just to feed Braun to him. By all accounts, by sheer perception alone, it seems like that they have plans for Braun. So I'm also gonna pick Braun Breaker, but I'm gonna go a little higher on this one. I'm gonna put 5 points on it.
Wow.
There's honestly, I mean, this match was kind of a toss-up, but there are a couple other ones that I'm worried that I'm overthinking the booking or anything like that, and I'm saving my lower point ones for those.
That's fair.
But I really do think I really of all the ones that's a toss-up, I'm gonna say this. Of the other title matches, Gunther and Priest, Bayley and Nia, Liv and Rhea, and Cody and Solo. This and the Cody one seem like pretty much no-brainers to me. Liv and Rhea, we'll get to that. But I feel like this one seems like it's that time. It's kind of like how we said with LA Knight. It's LA Knight's time. In this case, I think it's time. I think Braun would make a respectable IC champ, as a heel and everything like that. And it'll be good. It'll be a good jumping off point for him. And just the same as the shoe on the other foot with LA Knight. He's gonna make a good US champ. And defending that title and everything like that. I can see, Braun as the pompous, fucking IC champ or whatever. And like Poot had said, we're not gonna see, we're not gonna see some, long historic reign out of this by any means. I don't think we need that by any means. But I do think it's time we put the title on Braun and see what he's made of. Let him do it.
This is what many would call meteoric rise from Braun Breaker. After not even a year on the main roster, already contending for what people believe to be the second biggest belt in the company. With the world title in there, I guess it probably slipped to third. But I mean, it has the lineage, man. Like at times, the Intercontinental Championship has felt more important than the world title. So, I see your 5, and I'll raise you 6. Give me a Braun Breaker for 6 points.
Wow.
I just first of all, he's getting big odds. And honestly, sometimes that doesn't, pan out. But they're laying 3,000. He is currently a 3,000 to 900. Sami Zayn's plus 900. Braun Breaker's minus 3,000. That means that he's 4 times more likely to win the title. The most important part is it makes sense. I don't think Sammy beating Braun in the first place made any sense. I'm all for David and Goliath matchups. I think that they have their place in wrestling. Rey Mysterio beating Kevin Nash. Rey Mysterio becoming world champion. Rey Mysterio being Rey Mysterio. I think that they do have their place. I don't think that this was it. at Money in the Bank. I think that they should have not squandered Braun's momentum, and I don't think that they necessarily squandered it per se. I just think that they didn't capitalize as best they could have. Instead of having Sammy versus Braun here, they could have had, some like super fresh faces like Braun and fucking Ilya, or Braun and Ilya and Kaiser. Like they could have capitalized on the youth movement, which I think is something that SummerSlam is big on too. So like I still feel like they made a bad decision at Money in the Bank, which I think that they'll fix here. But yeah, no, absolutely, Braun Breaker's going over. I'm damn certain of it, because if he loses again to Sami Zayn, I think that they'd have a tough road to hoe, getting him back to believability.
You're a hoe.
Yeah.
Now, that point that I wanted to make is, with all of this, potentially negative press that Logan Paul is drudging up with the transphobia stuff, which is how it's being interpreted. That's not like my opinion being like, oh, he's being transphobic. The perception around the internet community is that it was a transphobic comment. Word is they have Rick Steiner going to Cleveland, no doubt to see Braun Breaker's big moment, Braun Breaker's first singles title. We obviously remember what happened with Rick Steiner and Giselle Shaw at WrestleMania last year, where Rick Steiner made some transphobic comments to her. So all that being said, with Logan Paul's recent kerfuffle, and the timing of it is pretty rough, I think, for WWE. Do you think then WWE pivots away from having Rick Steiner on screen at all to celebrate with his son if Braun wins?
I think for his situation, I think enough time has passed. I know that might sound a little crass or knee-jerky or whatever, but I think that's the case with Rick Steiner. I think if his son wins at SummerSlam, I think he's going to come out and give him a hug, hold his hand up. I think enough time has passed that they're going to go, okay, go celebrate with your kid. You know what I mean? I think that's just how it's going to be.
It wouldn't shock me if they pivoted away from Rick and had Scott there. Now, I get it.
Okay.
What if it was both? What if it was both, to kind of Scott being the buffer to Rick? What if it's both Steiners as opposed to just Rick?
I think here's where my odds would be. Either Scott solo would be number one, not Sikoa, Scott alone, number one. Scott and Rick, 2. Just Rick, 3. I think the odds of it being just Rick now that's probably the least likely. It's more likely that it's both. It's a family thing. The Steiner brothers, they were a tag team.
Hall of Famers.
Yeah. If they are very gun shy and worried that much about perception, they might just say, all right, we're going to have Rick come out, Rick Steiner, former world champion. We'll see.
Tom, got a thought on it?
No, not really.
I'm just asking.
I know. I just really don't have a thought on it.
Did you say not really? Because the not didn't come through. All I heard was really.
Yeah. I said not
Same.
really.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I heard really
Yeah.
No.
I'm sorry, Tom.
Yeah.
Jesus, man, didn't know I was crossing the line here. No. So, man, time is a son of a bitch. Like in no way, shape, or form is what Rick Steiner said okay, and nor will it ever be okay. The whole time healing all wounds thing, whatever. But like I think that that there is that perception that like if things go long enough, people can pick stuff back up. I'm inclined a little. And again, I'm not like I am very much like a pro-ally person. I very much despise the things that he said because I think that that's a real prick's trick. From a gentleman with a likely small penis. Anyway, I feel like he that they probably feel like, okay, we're good. Like, let's bring him out. He's a Hall of Famer. Like, let's start to use some of their cred to make this kid more legit. And I think the timing of Logan's comments are auspicious. Especially with Cleveland hosting SummerSlam. Logan being a Cleveland guy, and like, just the way that everything is falling. And again, right, wrong, we're not here to judge, okay? And Ransom made some salient points about freedom of speech. Absolutely, that's Logan's right to have that opinion and voice it. Absolutely, but like in the public eye, you tend to want to stay away from that, kind of like derisiveness, things that are going to like divide people. So like WWE, TKO, whomever, probably doesn't want to look at that and go, okay, like let's, they're probably going to look at it and go, it's probably not great. So like having this happen and then having Rick Steiner come out, the optics are not great. And again, Rick may have said some stuff that he like apologized for, whatever. I don't know. I think he did. I think there was like some like half-assed apology. But like, regardless, the optics aren't bad. Now that being said, like, I'm a true wrestling mark to remember that kind of shit. Not saying that there aren't a lot of me out there, because there are. But I still think that we are the very few vocal minority. So, like, they also could be hedging their bets to say, what are the chances that people remember? But they're also running the risks of, fucking like a Variety or some shit, like drudging this up and being like, less than a week after Logan Paul's comments, like WWE brings known transphobe on screen for, blah, 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 and like spanning it and like being just not great for the optics. So that's, I kind of fall in Ransom's camp. I think they'd be silly. Well, I think it would be a missed opportunity if they don't have the Steiners at ringside or whatever. But I think that it has to be Scott and Rick. I don't think it can just be Rick now. And who knows? Maybe that was always the plan. Maybe it was always going to be the Steiner brothers, because when you think when you think of the Steiners, you think of Scott Steiner. All due respect to Rick, like Scotty Steiner was like the guy. He was the guy in the ring. He was the fast one. He was the one that did the Frankensteiner. He was the
Shawn Michaels.
He was.
When the team ended, he was the breakout of the group.
Absolutely. Big Papa Pump was the star. And went on to wrestle for fucking decades after. So, I think that they can absolutely pivot with this and do it just as the Steiner brothers. Again, whether it's planned, whether or not, I don't know. I think that they will have that because, again, I think it's important to have that. I think that I like the way that the Levesque era is shaping up with the way that they're using legends. To wit, the legends don't have the spotlight. They're like spotlight adjacent. They're there to like help push others into the spotlight. And that's the way that it should be. So, like, absolutely, I think that this would be a missed opportunity if they didn't do that. We shall see.
Now, before we move on, Beef did kind of open a can of worms here, so I'm gonna pivot a little bit and I'm going to say this. WWE, regardless of how some may feel about certain things, we don't know how WWE is going to respond.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, WWE is not just WWE anymore. They roll up now into TKO. But the UFC also rolls up into TKO. And Dana White has been historically staunch on his stance of, I don't care what my people say. It's not about what they say. It's not about what they think. It's about what they do in the ring. It's about what they do in the match. And he's been very hard on that point. In many interviews, there have been a lot of interviews that try to catch him, trip him up, get their gotcha moment when they're like, hey, this person said something that might have been racist. This person said something that might have been, phobic. And Dana White's response has always been, they have freedom of speech. They can say what they want. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they think. They can think and say whatever they want to. It's about what happens in the match. If the people that Dana answered to feel that same way, that might be the stance that WWE takes on things. Logan Paul might get a little timeout, but as far as Rick Steiner goes, at this point, they may not really care. It's hard to tell. UFC doesn't seem to be suffering when it comes to money and the money they bring in because of the freedoms that Dana White gives his fighters on the mic. If it's not hurting them, TKO might look at WWE the same way and say, we're not going to do anything until it starts hurting. And if it doesn't hurt us a lot, whatever. I don't know if that's going to be the stance they're going to take. We're not going to know, I don't think, until SummerSlam. And honestly, at this point, the plan might have been LA Knight regardless. So we'll see.
As an update, reportedly from Wrestle Purist, Ibu of Wrestle Purist reached out to WWE HR to see if they had reached out to Logan Paul, and he was contacted. Logan Paul was contacted by HR, and has since removed the tweet. So, it's clear they had that they definitely had an eye on this, and like they kind of realized that the optics weren't great.
That's true. Or they could have said, "Hey, man, you what you said was wrong. Like, not opinion-wise. Like, your opinion is bad. It was a factually incorrect statement. So, like, hey, man, yeah, like, if you're gonna have an opinion, that's fine. But like, you can't be saying stuff that's not correct.
Right.
Hard to say what the conversation was when they said take this down.
Exactly. Yeah. And we'll never know what that conversation entailed. I still say that, like, on the eve of your second biggest show of the year, to have your like hometown boy do that. And again, it didn't have to be just that. It could be anything like towing the line of controversy. It could have been something as simple as, I think that Harry Potter sucks ass. And that's an extreme. That's an extreme example. But like anything that's gonna rile up roughly 50% of people, like, you as a business owner are gonna go, come on, man. Come on, we have to get to 48 hours. Like, come on, man.
I'm not completely sold on like. I started that sentence out wrong. It wouldn't surprise me if leading into this, somebody from WWE said to Logan, like, hey, do something to heal up, like, big. Like, oh, yeah, absolutely. Do something to get a lot of heat going into this match, because we want people to boo you and we want people to cheer LA Knight. So, get out there and maybe ruffle some feathers. I don't think WWE said, hey, man, say this. But it wouldn't shock me if they were like, hey, You know, we want to
get out there and fuck some shit up.
Hey, go up there and go drudge up that old YouTube video of the dead body in the Japanese forest. Why don't you?
Oh Christ!
Yeah, like it wouldn't shock me if WWE did say like, "Hey, we want you to get some nuclear heat before this match because we want it to be loud as hell."
Sure.
And then, maybe Logan Paul took that and went, all right, what's going to get me the most heat? Here's what it is. And it got a different kind of heat than what WWE was looking for.
Something different.
I'm not saying that's what happened, but it wouldn't shock me if someone was like, hey, man, heal up a little bit. And Logan Paul was like, all right, let's see what I can do. And damn it, you don't tell Logan Paul to heal it up without giving some caveats because he's going to.
Without fucking it up.
Because I'm a wrestling fan, immediately I'm like, am I being worked? Like, is Logan just working me?
It's hard to tell.
Also, Logan's a shitbag human being, which I think we had all hoped that he had grown out of, and maybe was starting to time to turn the corner. So like, fucking wrestling, man, fucking wrestling is such a weird fucking thing where you never know the fucking truth.
It's so hard to tell when you're being worked and when you're not when it comes to, especially nowadays. I know we've pivoted away from picks, but like, hey man, it's a hot topic.
It's fine.
But like, especially nowadays, because kayfabe is dead. You don't just have dirt sheets that are printed in a magazine that you have to go out and buy. Like,
dude, Drew McIntyre took a picture with fucking Jack Perry last week and put it on Twitter.
That was bonkers. That was fucking bonkers.
Kayfabe may be dead. Like, kayfabe is dead, but long live kayfabe. You know, like this is fucking crazy.
But what I'm saying is that like nowadays you have to take that extra big step to sometimes get that believability factor out there. And again, I'm not saying that that's what he did here. I'm just saying nowadays, especially with the internet and how many people are reporting on this and how many people leak stuff out of companies, it's so hard to tell when you're being worked and when something's like, oh man, this guy really duffed it and is going to get in trouble. Like it's so freaking hard to tell anymore.
Sure is.
Yeah.
Sure is. Yeah, man. Absolutely. And I mean, we prayed for this and it happened.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's like, man, I miss kayfabe. Well, okay, but like fucking
but do you really?
Yeah.
Do you really?
Monkey paw that shit, because I was like, oh man, like is CM Punk literally gonna fucking punch Drew McIntyre in the fucking face for taking a picture with Jack Perry? Like,
yeah. Like that's the first thing that came to my mind was, boy, I wonder what the countdown is. I wonder what the doomsday clock is on CM Punk freaking out on Drew McIntyre backstage. And this time, it's not going to be a little kid that he freaks out on. It's going to be Drew-ass McIntyre, and it's not going to end well for Punk.
So reportedly, everything that's been put out there has been greenlit by Punk.
Yep.
And reportedly, he's a fucking champ backstage. Apparently, he's having the time of his life and he's living it up. So, like, honestly, like
good for fucking him, man.
Good for fucking wrestling.
That's exactly what we said. And again, I apologize. We're doing a picks episode, but like
it's fine.
I'm sorry.
We're also a wrestling show, so like here we are discussing wrestling.
Oh, good point. I think that's what we said that Punk needed. Punk needed to go somewhere where he was going to be happy. And as long as Punk is happy, Punk is productive. Even hurt. I give him a lot of shit for being hurt all the time, but that's mainly because, I feel about Punk almost the same way that, maybe Beef feels about Logan Paul. Probably not to that extreme, but like, CM Punk, fuck him. But like, I think that's what he needed though. He needed somewhere where he was going to be happy and he was going to have fun. As long as he's happy and having fun, he's going to play ball. Like with the pick of Drew McIntyre and that little fuzzball bastard, Jungle Boy. Like, I think if Punk was miserable, like if this was
up.
What?
I said, shut it off, I'm dead.
If this was Punk's last run in WWE where he was hurt and miserable all the time, that would have gone over like a fart in church. But since he's having fun, I think he doesn't care. He's like, yeah, go take a picture with him. That'll be hilarious. Because I think as long as he's having fun, as long as he's happy, all this stuff that we look at and go, oh my God, it's going to blow up. he's having a laugh at. So he needed this. He needed this.
You know why? Like, we've all had those jobs. Like, I love my current job. It's not the best job, and some days are real fucking tough. But I always think to myself, remember Guardian, or fucking remember Assurant, and how shitty things were there. So, like, sometimes you have to walk through the lava to appreciate the water, man. Like, it may be full of fucking parasites and full of poop and piss, but man,
you might have to navigate around some obstacles. But
right, man,
again, being in the water is better than being in the lava, 100%.
And I'm not calling AEW terrible. Blah, blah, blah. I'm saying that Punk, that situation turned from great to terrible in 30 seconds. So, like, for Punk, it was literally walking through water.
You mentioned poop and piss. Now I got to poop and piss.
AEW
by poop, I mean just piss.
Gross.
AEW was not an environment where Punk could thrive. No. I think we were all hoping for it. Especially after the return, we were all hoping for it. But I think with as lawless as it was backstage, it was a bad. Punk and AEW were always going to have that clash, always going to have that problem. Again, how many times we've said it? Young wrestlers who have big egos, who are active competitors, and backstage management, it never goes well. And that especially didn't go well with Punk. Like, that was an environment where there are always going to be clashes. I think now in WWE, there are, at least as of right now, there are no clashes. Like, everything is a well-oiled machine, so everybody's happy.
Wonder if Triple H sent Tony Khan a fruit basket. Hey, thanks for pulling Punk out of retirement for us. We're seeing giant numbers and big fucking, like, T-shirt sales. Thanks, buddy.
We appreciate everything you've done for us.
All right, back to the picks. Unless Tom would like to chime in on any of this, we've been prattling on.
No, I'm good, man.
Okay, cool.
We do prattle.
We do prattle. Prattling is what we do here. All right, so we have Bayley defending the WWE Women's title against Nia Jax. I still want to call it the SmackDown Women's title because it's been ingrained to me for the past 10 years.
Break yourself
Bayley
of it.
Defends right. There's just not an excuse.
The dark days are over.
That's right. Bayley's defending the WWE Women's title. I can't talk against Nia Jax. Ransom, it's your pick, buddy.
I'm gonna say Bayley for 5 here. This was one of the ones that I was, at least in my pea-brain mind, was confident was not going to change hands. Could be wrong. Been wrong many times in the past. They should tattoo. They should engrave it on my tombstone. Boy, was this guy wrong. But I have no reservation about this pick whatsoever. Bayley, 5 points.
Tiger Bomb?
This is the one where like me and Ransom kind of flip-flopped. He did the 2 on Braun Breaker, I did 5. I'm putting my 2 points on Bayley on this one. This is the one I could really see going either way because
no, I picked wrong then, damn it.
No, not necessarily. No, I mean, you picked the right people, but point-wise, all we did was just flip-flop there. Now I think I could see Bayley I could see Bayley retaining, but at the same time I could also see Nia winning, and I could see them kind of working this program between Nia and Tiffy, like where Tiffy's kind of like by her side. Like they've already kind of done it a little bit where like Tiffy thought about cashing in or something and then she didn't, and like, but I don't know. I don't know if that's meant to last. I wasn't very confident on this one. So I don't know. I 2 points, Bayley. Let's see what happens.
Nia Jax 4 points.
Fuck.
You know, I don't know, man. You know, I'll be honest. The odds kind of swayed me a little bit because I was definitely a 50-50 on this, and look, it's not overwhelming for Naya. It's a pick 'em, as they say, but I feel like we're on the clock. You know, TikTok, it's Tiffy time. And even though I think personally Tiffy works better as a heel, I think that they're gonna have a tough time getting her over as a heel. I think that she can be a cocky face, and people will eat that shit up. So, and I think for that to happen, I think it's got to be a dominant heel, and like her and Nia kind of have this like weird, thing with each other right now. Um, I also I think Nia destroyed her briefcase, and so she's gonna get her a new briefcase that's gonna be probably Tiffy timed out. And that's of course is going to be like
I thought Bailey
the
destroyed
peak of
it.
irony. Well, it was destroyed with an incident with Nia Jax.
Oh.
And Nia said that she would take care of her. So
Hoisted by her own petard.
right, exactly. Like, oh, Tiffany cashing in with the same briefcase that Nia Jax. Ah, the irony. I can hear fucking Gorilla Monsoon talking about it right now. I miss you, Gorilla. But like, yeah. So I think that we are there with Tiffy, and would not shock me if they go pretty quick on that. Maybe even before Survivor Series, which again pisses me off. That like oh, we have Money in the Bank, but it's gone in 2 months. Now, to WWE's credit, they did have Money in the Bank stick around all the way till Mania last year. So, like, I guess I can't hope for that every year. But, like, man, like, it is literally like a fucking blank check that you can do with as you please, when you please, how you please. And so to, like, take out that MacGuffin in, like, 4 months, shame. But yeah, Nia Jax 4 points. Also, I think I don't think that Nia would have come back to just kind of like exist on this roster. I think that she had some. She has had will have had have had some potential. And I think that honestly, this is probably her best run in WWE. So like I think that like to lure her off the sidelines, they probably, gave her a little bit of a, what if we sweeten the deal? So like it would not shock me to see her win. I mean, honestly, like 4 points on this card is kind of middle of the road. So like I wouldn't be shocked if Bailey won either. I just feel like Bailey's story was in the chase, much like Cody's. Once Bailey had the title, I'm like, okay, cool. Bailey got the title. Now what? So like, it hasn't been the greatest run. So I think it'll be easy to pivot away from. Pootsky, who you got?
I am also I'm gonna put 3 points on Nia Jax. Like I said, I feel like SummerSlam is the time of change. SummerSlam is the time of new. And like Beef said, they keep calling her back for some fucking reason. They see some fucking thing in her other than that she's just The Rock's fucking relative. Like Beef said, saying that this is the best run that she's had, that's not a very high bar to accidentally stumble over, hit your butt, and say my hole. Like, it's really not something to like write home about. But give him a chance. It's one of those things you just give him a chance, give him a chance, give him a chance, give him a chance. So, you know what? 3 points, Nia Jax. And like Beef said, Bayley does better whenever she's chasing. She just does. She just does better in the chase.
I mean,
Absolutely.
And also Tiffy beating Bayley. I hate to put it this way because a victory over Bayley should be a like big thing to write home about. But if you look at just size-wise and overcoming like strength, the whole David and Goliath thing, I think that is something that's a little more accessible to people, especially people that might be casual fans. They might be able to understand that a little bit better. So that's where I'm at.
All right. I thought I would be the lone dissenter, so I'm glad that I'm not out on the limb by myself. But also having Putski the one on the limb with me, Mister. Well, let's see what happens. Like doesn't fill me with confidence either. But he is.
Well, listen, Ransom's trying to gag something out. I want to hear what he has to say.
I mean, it's nothing earth-shattering. It's derogatory. I mean, was there really a bidding war over Nia Jax? Like, did WWE really have to do a lot to kind of coax her back? They let her go. She didn't, have a contract expire and go, I'm going to go see what else is out there. Bye. Like, it wasn't a Jade Cargill, Mercedes Moné, Adam Copeland Edge bidding war. Like, she was sitting at home doing what? I don't know, posting fucking pictures. Look at me, I'm Little Rock. What was she doing? Nothing. So when WWE's like, hey, you want to come back and make some money? I'm sure she's like, well, I'm not making money now, so yeah, I probably should make some money.
Well, I don't know about all that, man. Like,
what was she doing?
She was an Instagrammer, man. Like, we tend to forget that she was a model before she was a wrestler. That's why she was so terrible at it for so long, and is not the greatest at it still. But like,
all right. Well, tell me that she was making more as an Instagram model than she's making in WWE.
Probably not. She's not Mandy Rose. That's a fact. But like, I think that she probably had enough squirreled away from WWE and other facets. I think she has a clothing line. I'm not 100% on that. But like, I'm pretty sure that she probably could have been okay. But like, well,
maybe. But like you've said it before, money talks. So if WWE is willing to be like, hey, man, come on back and we'll give you dump trucks of money. What's she going to be like, nah, man, I'm good. I don't need your money. Probably not. She's probably going to be like, hey, man, that's a lot more money than I'm making now.
There's also a lot of wrestlers and a lot of personalities that like WWE is it. They don't want to be anywhere else.
That's also true.
Yeah.
Especially with her family ties.
What's she going to do? Have all of her family in WWE and she's going to go to TNA or AEW or New Japan? I don't think so.
I mean, it's possible.
Not with Rocky on the board now, especially.
Well, yeah, because it's that family. That's it. I mean, that was kind of like the Andrade situation with AEW, where he was split from. And actually, so honestly, Charlotte was kind of the black sheep there, where she was away from the Flair clan. But now that Woo Energy is no longer a partner with AEW,
it's not.
Sure, no, yeah, I think reportedly that branding ended a while ago. So like, I'm sure we'll see them trot old man fucking Rick out there sooner or later.
Fucking darn.
I'm gonna have Woo Energy and I'm gonna munch on some Woo wings. It's gonna be Woo great.
You know what? I'm gonna say this.
I'll get my Woo dick out.
You wait. Andrade's gonna have like all is lost, and fucking Ric Flair's gonna come and coach him up like the old guy from Rocky.
Yep.
Tom, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, you gotta get your dick out, son, and you gotta spin it like a helicopter.
You gotta whip it around on a plane. Woo.
Tom, what were you gonna say?
Never mind. I don't even want.
No, I want.
No, I don't. I don't. After that, I don't want to. Let's just go.
I like how that's how fucking volatile Ric Flair's been. We brought him up in his helicopter and dick, and even Tom doesn't want to be associated with this conversation.
Nope.
And honestly, I hope he doesn't. I hope he stays the fuck away. I hate
please.
Ric Flair. I hate Ric Flair with a passion. But like,
Beef,
for
do you
your
hate
own
Ric
good,
Flair?
dude, with a passion.
More than Logan
But
Paul?
like, for your own, yes.
With a what?
For your own, more than Logan Paul. But for your own good, man, stay the fuck away, because you know if he starts sniffing around a wrestling ring, Triple H is gonna be, hey, you want to take a bump, and that's gonna be it. Ric Flair's gonna take a bump, and we're gonna be like, well, there goes Ric Flair dead in a wrestling ring.
See, I am solar powered hot or ice cold on Ric Flair. I want him to stay the hell away, or I want him to show up, take a bump, and I want to see the death on television.
This man.
I want to watch a man be dead on television. So
Well,
you stay away, Ric
Oh,
Flair,
never mind.
or you need to perform a live death celebration in the ring for me to see with my eyeballs. I can call it a night. I'll pop a couple melatonin gummies and go, you know what? Tomorrow's going to be a great day. I am not sorry the way I feel about Ric Flair.
I agree.
Die
100%.
or get off the pot.
Wow. Fuck.
He
Okay.
deserves it. He's a fucking monster. So like, that's fine. Like, I think we had similar discussions about Vince, and also a fucking like egregious monster. Like, if he had the skin fled from his body, that would be the best case scenario for him. So like, I get it. But yeah, definitely.
man, I'm not-
Coliseum vibes here. Triple H
Flair
thumbs down and.
Flair doesn't offend me here, man. Like, it takes a lot to offend me. But as a father of a daughter, he has done some heinous acts to women,
Heinous.
and I would not be sorry to witness
It's
his
pronounced
demise
heinous.
with my own two eyes.
I kind of feel that same
no.
way about other
Damn it.
people in the world, and
I'm glad you got that, Beef.
That slipped under the radar, you bastard.
I'm so proud of that joke. Yeah,
Oh
let's
my
get back
God.
to picks.
People are gonna hear and be like, "Dude, that was fucking dark." All right, what are we doing now?
I'm
Drew and Punk. Go ahead, Tom. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna
It's
say
a-
I'm glad I missed it. I'm glad Poot made a dark joke because I was about to go 50 Shades even darker, and I'm just gonna. We're good.
Come on,
Beef, you-
come on. Like, let's do it. What's going to happen to you? Nothing.
I mean,
No, I
mean,
said-
well,
what I said-
if Ransom really wanted to see a death on TV, we almost got that. IRL, no fucking jokes aside, like, and not too far away from
Accurate.
your stomping grounds there, buddy.
It's accurate.
It's accurate.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
So
That is true.
maybe run along.
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I was more proud of mine.
I told you. I
yeah,
told you I was gonna go darker.
He's a fan. Punk
I'm
and
all
Drew
for it.
McIntyre. So the hottest, the hottest angle in wrestling, I think, by a mile, is Drew
Yes.
McIntyre and CM Punk. Like, this whole thing has been a fucking roller coaster. Cause like, oh man, I'm like fucking, bummed almost to tears that Punk gets hurt in the Royal Rumble and isn't gonna be at WrestleMania and isn't gonna win the world title. To like, man, how wasted would a world title be on this angle? Because it would literally bring nothing to the table.
Nope.
Very seldomly has an angle been worked so well by one active competitor and one person on the sideline, but they have done this. They've threaded the needle perfectly. And
That Royal Rumble injury was a serendipitous moment.
Sure was. Again, not that Punk and Seth at Mania wouldn't have been great, because I'm sure it would have been.
Yeah. But this is off the charts. This
Absolutely.
program.
Absolutely. So yeah, and again, like, this is just me sucking Punk's dick. Like, this is Drew bringing the fucking heat, being the hater of the year, week in and week out. Like, knowing no bounds is, and like how far they're willing to go and how far WWE is willing to let them go.
Mhm.
It's just a breath of fresh air that's been missing from this company for 20 years.
Yes. I mean, just like we said earlier, that picture alone with him and Jungle Boy, Lord have mercy.
Unheard of. But yeah, well, like we talked about earlier as well, like when kayfabe is dead, you gotta create new moments. You have to create new kayfabe, and that's the world that we're living in. Like, do Punk and McIntyre really hate each other? I don't know. It sure feels like it. It sure feels like there's a lot of resentment there. So I mean, if they do, man, fucking bravo for like being men and working it and like being able to like sit in the same room and strategize and plan and plot, fucking
they've done a great job, but I just, knowing Punk's history, I don't think they hate each other. Like, I don't think this goes off as smoothly as it has if there is actual animosity between any three of these guys. I really don't.
agree.
If there was, I think it's been squashed.
I agree.
I think all these men are looking at it and going, look at the dollar signs, look at the publicity, look at what this is doing for all three of us. Like, there is a no-lose situation with these three right now.
I think that early on, Punk or Paul Levesque, Triple H, got all of his people, the important ones in the locker room, the locker room leaders, if you will, the vocal ones, and it's like, listen, like, this may seem crazy and off the fucking charts, but like, stick with us. Like, this is going to pay off. As volatile as Punk is, he's also just a channel of like energy, and like people respond to him.
Would you say he's a cult of personality, Beef?
Absolutely, I would. I saw, real quick, I saw a tweet by Punk talked about seeing Jesse Ventura at Monday Night Raw, which fucking wow. First of all, but like he said, talking to Jesse in the back, and Jesse said to him, he's like, "Well, I saw CM Punk came back, so I'm like, well, if Punk's back, things must be different. Maybe I'll give him a shot too." So like, what a weird fucking wrestling world we're living in, man.
Yeah, man.
Happy to be here. Anyway, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, all the proliferation aside, time for these two to get physical in the ring with Seth Rollins as the special guest referee. Who knows how far he's gonna let shit go? Ransom, you get the Tom, you get the first pick on this one. Yes, go ahead.
Can I ask two questions before we start this pick, or do you want these questions to come after? It has to do with the match.
Go ahead.
Poot, Tom, are you guys cool, or do you want me to? Would you rather me save it?
Ask your questions.
You're fine.
So, question number one: what are the odds in your mind that Seth screws one of them over? I have no doubt that Seth will get physical at some point.
Very
but
high.
like, does he get physical with one and then physical with the other, but like calls it down the middle? Or like, what are the odds that there's an actual screw over here by Seth Rollins?
Like a full-on screw job.
Absolute. Absolute.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Tom, what do you think?
I think the chances are pretty high. It's just well, I mean, you'll hear whenever I make my pick. But
okay.
Yeah, I think I think
Listen
the chances
to you.
are pretty high.
Don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain over here. Love it.
What do you mean?
Playing his cards close to the vest, man. That's smart.
Yeah, man.
Well,
keep it.
Well, I'm the first to pick anyway, so it does. I mean, you're gonna hear it in a second.
No, good point. Good point. And then point two, this one's been eating away at me for a while. And maybe I'm reading too much into it, and you guys can let me know that if I am. But there seems to be like one dude that has been vocal and also physical when it comes to the butting of heads between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. And that has been Wade Barrett. I don't know if it's just happenstance that like he happened to be there, so like he was the one to like pull Drew away at the the after show, whatever, when all the commentators were talking and Drew came up and got all rowdy and bashed Adam Pearce, and maybe it was just because, like, well, Wade Barrett's there. He's, physically imposing. He's, a kind of guy that can kind of drag Drew away and be believable. But I've seen some tweets or some like postings or Insta speeches. I don't know what they're called. I don't social media very well. From Wade Barrett in particularly, like kind of like siding with Drew. Like, do we see Wade Barrett actually get physical in this match in an attempt to assist Drew McIntyre? Like I said, maybe I'm reading into a little bit more than I should be, like with Wade Barrett's involvement, but like it really seems like he's kind of been involved here and there more than anybody else aside from Drew and Punk, and of course, Seth, because Seth's the special guest referee. But like Wade Barrett seems like a standout to me for some reason, and am I just making that up in hopes that something will happen? No.
It is absolutely there. He is definitely throwing all of the gas on the fire. And, like, I don't know if it's, like, in a Heenan-esque way to be, like, that commentator.
Yeah.
But it would be weird because he doesn't even commentate the show that they're on, right? Like, he's on SmackDown. So, like, what sense does that make other than adding more like fake kayfabe, fake kayfabe to like the kayfabe fire? Like, he is absolutely playing a part in this. I don't know if it's going to result in a physical altercation where he gets involved physically. But I think he's definitely part of this to try and add some heat to the situation.
Tom Poot, what do you guys think? Do you have any thoughts on that? Or
I personally, I didn't realize that Wade was making a whole bunch of noise on social media or whatever about it. I completely missed that part. So
they've done it very smartly on pre-show and post-show. Like the last couple times that Punk has screwed over Drew, like Wade has been like, "This is fucking wrong. It's stupid. It's bullshit." Not in those words, obviously, but like he has been.
He's shown outrage.
Yes, very upset about his friend Drew McIntyre being screwed over. So, like, again, they're appealing to like some of the minor facets of the audience, which is interesting to me, but it's definitely something that's definitely adding some gas to the fire.
But okay, now correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't Wade whenever he's the color commentator, and he's usually I'm sure he's probably usually the one that kind of like heals up a little bit, because the color commentators usually do, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
But he's also on the show with Corey Graves, so like that dynamic's weird.
Wait,
but like
so,
this is
so,
like
wait, who? Okay, so he's on SmackDown then? Wade is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like I
Yeah.
I don't ever really watch SmackDown like at all. Like if I catch a replay on Hulu, it's usually of Raw. And then I always catch NXT the next day once they're up on Peacock or whatever. So who's all on the commentating team on SmackDown? It's what, Corey, Wade, and somebody else?
I think it's just Corey and Wade.
Yeah.
Oh, Corey. So Corey's the play-by-play?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize.
I mean,
that.
they're setting him up, man. He's like the fucking the heir apparent, the Michael Colin, if you will.
Well, I mean, that's fantastic. I'm happy for him. I knew they had I knew they shook things up. I knew that Cole, got moved off of SmackDown and Cole was on Raw with Pat McAfee or whatever. But I forgot who was on Raw while Pat was away. Whenever he was away there for a little bit.
Corey
was.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah.
All right.
Yep. But
and
yeah,
I guess
this is definitely beyond like a heel commentator. This is definitely like him being like a quote unquote friend of Drew McIntyre and being outraged at how Punk can get away with this.
Like I'm a starry-eyed schoolgirl when it comes to the re-energizing of previous factions. And I was such a huge mark for the first iteration of the Nexus. And that's the one kind of like faction that I have been, kind of chomping at the bit to see get like a revitalization. And all I can hope for is like Drew and Wade, somehow this winds up forming a faction.
I mean, they could.
Wade brings back the Nexus, not like, of course, the original guys, but like he reforms the Nexus as a group to kind of fight the injustice that he sees.
Unless you pull in like Dragunov, you pull in Kaiser, you do that whole thing. Yeah, because like, it's a faction of killers. It's not a faction of like, hey, here's a couple weak guys, one power guy, and then the leader. Like it would be a faction of full on balls to the wall killers. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
And in reality, my expectations are not high that we get a renewed Nexus. Oh my Lord, here we go. Let's go. Get up the road. Come on. Move it out. Sons of Anarchy. Here we go. I am doubtful that it happens, but like I've never been more hopeful in a way that like this could lead there. With as vocal and outspoken as Wade Barrett has been, like maybe, just maybe, and especially now with Triple H at the helm, like the Nexus was kind of like they were all Triple H guys from NXT that formed this group. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being, maybe I'm just waxing nostalgic and hoping for something that is never going to happen, and I'm seeing things that aren't there, but like it's a hope. Sorry, I apologize once again for another derail.
It's fine. The Nexus was amazing. It was lightning in the bottle, and probably outside of Brock Lesnar, one of the best things that came out of like that decade or so of WWE.
There's so much of me that sees stuff that I guess I want to see. Like there was never really in my mind a full resolution. Punk stole the Nexus from Wade Barrett. He screwed Wade Barrett out of the group that Wade Barrett created. He screwed him out of it. He turned everyone against him. So not only is Punk now constantly screwing Drew McIntyre, but Wade Barrett has this, if they went this way, could have this grudge that he's waited all these years to finally get his revenge against CM Punk for stealing the group that he created, and exiling him. Like, oh my Lord, it plays so good together in my mind.
Wade Barrett had the core, man. Like he's Slater, Justin Gabriel. Like,
stop it!
I've had
you
enough.
Reduced me to this.
I'll make him see.
I was the leader of the Nexus.
Guys, I don't mean to be a big fuss, but like we are going way out in the.
It's fine. We haven't had a fucking talkie podcast in like a month. People can listen, pause it, come back to it. We have 4 listeners, and I'm sure they'll eat it up. We could talk. Sorry. I went all dead mom there. I went all dead mom there.
Please, come on. It writes itself, man.
I hear you. All right, yeah. So Punk, McIntyre, Tom.
Wow. After all that, you're gonna be sorely disappointed in my pick because I'm putting 1 point on Drew McIntyre. I think Punk gets screwed by Seth because I think that's where the real underlying story is. I think this story started way back whenever Punk came back and Seth had all that animosity towards him and everything like that. The injury at the Royal Rumble was happenstance, and it ended up being great happenstance, and it turned into a fantastic story. But now we've weaved Seth back into it because, Punk was out. Punk was out from Rumble to Mania. Drew took on Seth, and Seth took time off after Mania to heal up. Heal his body, not heal as in babyface heal. And so now everything's kind of coming back around full circle. I think Seth absolutely does screw somebody over. I think he's gonna get physical with both of them to a certain degree. But I think of the two, I mean, I know given the big segment that they had or whatever, which that I have some thoughts on that. Based off of that segment and everything like that, it's like he may say, yeah, if there's one person I hate as much or more than Punk, it's you or whatever, Drew. But nah, I think he hates Punk more, in my own personal opinion. And by the way, if you're gonna do a segment like that where it's like where we know that that Drew and Punk can't lay hands on one another, man, don't fucking say that. Like, you just kind of like deflated, you just kind of deflated everything like before it got started. That's like, that's like, I don't know. They could have gone about it a different way. They could have had a bunch of security guards and, Punk and Drew get physical with other people, but just not one another. Like, it's just kind of like, well, here's the expectation. It's like, hey, Poot, I'm gonna come up to your place for 2 hours and then I'm gonna leave. I'm just gonna tell you I can only come up for 2 hours. Oh, well, that sucks. Okay. Or if I come up for a little bit and I'm up there for 2 hours and then I say, oh shit, hey, I gotta go. Oh, well, hey, I had a great time while you were here. There's the difference. Like, you're already setting the expectations. You're kind of like setting the segment up to be kind of like, well, we know they're not going to lay hands on one another because we know this match isn't going to get called off before SummerSlam, so what the fuck? So we're just going to stand here and listen to them talk. Granted, they're all entertaining on the mic and everything like that, but still, they could have done that segment better. But I digress. Punk's going to get screwed over because the long-term story really is between Punk and Seth. So give me 1 point on that, but just because it's such a fucky storyline and everybody's got animosity with everybody, I'm only putting the 1 point on it.
Yeah, fucking well said, man. Absolutely. The story is Punk and Seth, and it always has been. This Drew thing was a happy accident, which has panned out great for both Drew and Punk. I would not be shocked if it loops back into this at some point where we get Drew and Punk down the line again. But yeah, I think for right now it's going to shift into full-on Punk and Seth. And that's Punk and Seth, not Punk and Seth. I think
Punk and Seth latte.
That's right. 'Tis the season. I think I think Seth is an amazing heel. I think he's a good face, but I think he's a better heel. And I think that heel Seth and face Punk is what's the best thing. So absolutely, I think that Seth screws over Punk here in an effort to draw some heat. Fans are gonna still want to sing his song because wrestling fans have a tough time like being what they're supposed to be, which is fine. Like on fucking Dynamite when MJF, the very clear heel, has made the U.S. title or the American title out of the international title, and the fans kept chanting USA against Will Ospreay, and I'm like, man, you guys are fucking missing the point.
Didn't do their fucking homework.
Wrestling fans.
That's the most American move.
Wrestling fans will do that sometimes. So like you're still gonna get that because it's fun. Oh, it's fun. It's a blast.
Same with everybody throwing up the ones for Roman.
Exactly.
You throw up the ones, but then you turn around and as soon as he starts talking or going against the clear cut baby face for it, you boo the shit out of him. It's fine. Yeah.
Exactly. So like I think the Seth the heel Seth here is the clear thing. So yes, I think the Seth does in fact screw like a hard screw over upon Punk here. And I think it's going to be a great moment. But yeah, give me 3 points on McIntyre. I think McIntyre's on to bigger and better things after this. Not that, again, Punk is a huge draw, obviously, and a big name. But I think that it's time that we get McIntyre back in that championship chase. Putski, who you got?
I'm following suit, man. I'm going 1 point on Drew McIntyre. I think that the story is more compelling. Seth screwing over Punk, having them like lead through the fall. I think it's better that way. Like you guys have said it. It just kind of, aside from the fact like it kind of makes sense, it's also just, I don't know. I find it more compelling. And I was sitting here and I'm looking, I'm going, I should throw my sixer on this. And I'm like, no. Because again, there's a lot of stuff on here that's kind of pick 'em. I can't. I can see them going either direction, but the thing is, Punk can eat all the losses, man. He can. Like, I hate to put it that way. He can eat every fucking pin in the universe.
And should.
He can. And he should, absolutely. Not only can he should. And people will love the shit out of him. And they will still find him entertaining, still find him viable, and still find him compelling. So Punk doesn't need the wins. I mean, it would take a lot. It would take a lot of very obvious, kind of, for lack of a better term, gross losses for like on like bullshit like little shows for Punk to not be a viable person. Like that, it would take them doing the thing where they would put him on Shotgun Saturday Night to and not even give him a full introduction. Like he'd already be waiting in the ring. That's what it would fucking take. And even then, people would just rise up against that fucking nonsense. Like it but like Drew McIntyre coming out, he's doing the best. I would even just say generally the best work of his career right now. He is the most interesting he's been. He's the most entertaining he's ever been. And he is doing the best heel work of his career because he's not just big, brooding Scottish man, like who will beat you up hard. Ooh, like it's not that. He is a snarky fucking asshole. Even though he's a mountain of a human being, you look at him and go, I want to punch that fucking guy in the face. Like, you're just like, because he does shit-eating things because he thinks he's so fucking great. And you're just sitting there going, oh, you son of a fucking bitch. And that's great. That's amazing. He's killing it. It's outstanding. And I'm here for it. And I want them to keep going with it. And the way that you do that is you have him fucking win. So that's why 1 point on Drew McIntyre.
And if it's a very clear screw over of Punk,
it protects Punk.
And we can get back to Drew and Punk a lot easier. But Punk saying, okay, you beat me, but did you really? And again, like I get that it's wrestling, like we can contrive anything pretty easily, but like, it just it makes all the sense for all parties involved. Ransom, who you got? So I'm sorry, let me just make sure that was Drew 1 point, right?
Yep.
Okay, Ransom, who you got?
Have I used my 5?
You have. You just use it on Bailey.
Have I used my 4?
You have not.
4 points on my newly discovered lineage, Drew McIntyre.
The McRansom house is pulling for Drew, huh?
That's it.
That's it. Oi! Earl, Rolling right along. Liv Morgan defends against Rhea Ripley in the Dominic Mysterio on a pool match.
Where the fuck is Vicky?
But yeah, I mean, here we are, like 2 decades later, and 2 more people are fighting over Dom Mysterio. I wonder what's gonna happen in 20 more years. Fucking two of his kids fighting over Dom Mysterio. God, hopefully. This is interesting. I don't think you will find many people who would disagree with the statement that Rhea Ripley is the best women's wrestler on the planet right now.
Period.
Yeah, like, end of list. Like, look, her charisma, her mic skills, her wrestling set, just the whole package.
She looks the best in ring out of any women's wrestler currently active.
Yes. I mean, obviously you have better technicians. I think Toni Storm, Jamie Hayter, those ladies are probably a little bit better, like, technically in the ring, and you probably have better talkers, but like, I think
as a total package, Rhea has it all.
Total package, Rhea is it, and she is a star. She is a fucking superstar. She has used the momentum from beating Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 39.
No.
Sorry, went through a few there. To like become a legit superstar. That's one thing. Well, one of many things that Triple H has done well, has built Rhea Ripley into a bona fide superstar. But all that to say, she's also a member of a heel faction, which doesn't synergize well with like superstars. It's kind of like the whole big time Bex thing. Like, it was there. I remember it, but like it wasn't great because you were trying to put a square peg into a round hole. Nope, don't go there, guys. Just let it go. But I think that a face Rhea Ripley is what's needed right now, and I think that happens once Dom screws Mommy figuratively out of the women's title and chooses Liv.
Mm-hmm.
My disdain for Liv aside, I think that she's doing some pretty good work right now too. Her acting chops are still not great. The last couple of vignettes have not been Liv's best, but
if you're going to put a heat magnet like Dominic, if you're going to put a heat magnet like Dominic Mysterio with Liv Morgan, she doesn't have to be perfect. That combination will draw enough heat
and that ass
to make up for to make up for like any shortcomings that Liv might have as acting chops or whatever. Like you put that heat magnet Dominic Mysterio with her, it makes up for it easy.
And that was going to be the other thing. Like the other thing that I think that she can get by is that a lot of people think that she is like really, really pretty. Like a lot of people are like getting the sweat or the drool off of their mouths. I'm looking at 2 of you on the podcast right now.
Yeah.
From her.
It is what it is, man.
Like,
I'm not going to deny it.
Look, bud, you know my proclivities. I don't want to hear it. This isn't news.
So I think that whenever you have a certain set of assets, they can cover up for some of your other. I know. They can cover up some of your other misdoings, and.
Yeah, sorry I was late on that one.
You're good. It was still good. I again, much to my chagrin, will say that Liv has gotten better in the ring. Not much, but she is getting better. So, all that to say, I don't think that Rhea Ripley wins here. That's weird. I think that there's going to be a bigger build-up for her at some point. But I think that the money right now is on Liv and Dom. And I whether or not like Priest and Rhea Ripley like go and do their own thing together, the Judgment Day Wolfpack, if you will. Maybe they just do their own thing individually, and the Judgment Day continues on as a bunch of like heels that people actually hate. But I think that they do start and finish the separation process with Rhea Ripley here at SummerSlam. I think that Dom does turn on her for Liv, and I think that we get Liv retaining here. So I am taking Liv Morgan 2 points. Poot?
You have the same thought process as me there, Cowboy. I'm going Liv Morgan, but I'm going a little bit harder on this one because, again, how do you extend a story that's been being told for a while? Not that it's getting stale, but it's getting very samey. I'm going Liv Morgan 6 points.
Okay. Ransom?
I'm going to say Liv Morgan 3 points. Have I used 3 yet?
You have not.
3 points, Liv Morgan. I definitely think Dom turns on Rhea. I think this is the fracturing of the Judgment Day, or this is just a Rhea separation. If you've noticed, Finn has had some. Again, I could read a little bit into it, but it feels like there's been some siding maybe with Finn and Liv. Like that one, maybe it was just for yucks, I don't know. But like that one segment where Liv gives Dom her, room key, and they're all like, "Oh, look at the room key!" And of course, Priest steps in and sides with Rhea, says, "No, go in this, blah blah blah." Like Finn Balor, like slyly took that room key and put it in his pocket. Like I don't know if you caught that, but like, and again, maybe that was just for funnies. It's hard to say.
No, I think that was on purpose. Absolutely.
Okay. So again, I don't know if this is a complete fracturing of the Judgment Day where like, Finn screws over Priest, Dom screws over Rhea and Priest are out, and it's, Finn's Judgment Day now with, his mini Finn and Carlito and Dom and Liv. I don't know. I don't know where the totality of it goes, but I definitely think we see Dominic Mysterio screw over Rhea Ripley here. And I think she loses to Liv.
Tom?
Man, Ransom started to steal my thunder on that because I was going to say I'm not sure if it's so
sorry.
much. No, you're good. I'm glad that somebody else was thinking a little bit outside of it being a bigger picture thing than just Dom and Liv and Rhea in this triangle, and it involving Finn as well too. So my only concern would be like if Dom is gonna be a heel through and through. I don't know that there's any way that you could actually garner sympathy for Dominic Mysterio at this point. Like, he's done such a good job at becoming such a great heel. Like, the fact that whenever he goes to pick up the microphone to speak, like, the audience just boos the shit out of him and like doesn't let him speak. You know what I mean? Like don't get me wrong, MJF, great heel. Other people, great heels and stuff like that, but nobody has that level of heat that Dom Mysterio has. So I don't know that we'll ever see, like, in the near future at all, or ever, Dominic Mysterio as a face. But that to say, even if it's not Dom directly who screws over Rhea, I think she does get screwed over. Whether it's Dom directly screwing her over, whether it's Finn and Liv screwing her over, and this just breaks up the Judgment Day, and then like it fractures entirely because like it's supposed to be a heel faction, but Priest has been getting cheers, and Rhea has obviously been getting cheers for a while. And so, I mean, like, either, no matter how it goes down, like, they need to break Rhea away. She needs to get screwed over, and I think there's still another layer or two to this whole Liv Morgan thing. And like Ransom mentioned about the stuff with Finn Balor, I think that will play into it as well too. I could see it. I could see it happening. Again, I don't see Rhea winning this. So I'm gonna put my 4 points on Liv Morgan.
We have been surprisingly across the board tonight, gents, with the exception of Bailey and Naya. Interesting. Which means that, usually that means that does not portend well for the event.
Speaking of the Steiners, Tom, what does that do for us? It spells disaster for us at SummerSlam.
Oh yeah, I was slow on the uptake on that one. I was gonna say, just don't put that negative juju out in the universe, Beef. Come on now, don't you gotta believe. You gotta fucking want this fucking this Cruiserweight championship to come back home, because
it's been stolen from us. We need a united front.
Yeah. And I even need Ransom. I even need Ransom to believe in himself. God damn it! Come on, Ransom. You got some. Listen,
Nick Ransom.
Oh
yeah. Listen.
How dare you?
Listen. You gotta fucking Brexit that into existence, man. All right. You can do it.
Yes, on 2 fronts.
Moving right along, we're going to be talking coffee talk about
Lord.
Cody Rhodes and
Coffee
Solo.
Hot topic: Rhode Island. Neither a road nor an island. Discuss.
Thank you, Paul Baldwin.
That was Mike Myers.
I think the big story here.
The character was. Never mind.
I think the big story here is that Pharaoh's retiring from traveling.
Wait.
Oh.
No!
Oh.
Jesus, man!
Wow! Good Lord!
It's all over tonight. Jesus, man!
This is vacation, Poot. Get used to it.
I think that oversteps any questionable materials that I've thrown out so far tonight.
Yeah,
Lord.
right, man, dude. Fucking say what you will about wishing hate on Ric Flair and Vince McMahon, but my God, Pharaoh's a good pooch. You fucking
you monster.
Calm down. Calm down.
I don't have a fucking word for you. Anyway, but,
I don't even have a word for you.
Calm down.
He's just poot.
He's just poot. My buddy Greg has been trying to fucking work me over. And by the way, he texted me. He's over at the Cleveland right now at the Not Sam podcast. He said they saw Drew McIntyre. Dude's a fucking walking mountain, apparently.
Oh God, yeah.
Yes,
Greg.
McScotland.
No. Greg from work. He's my buddy that we talk wrestling at work. He's been working me for the last 2 weeks about Cody losing to Solo, and he's made a lot of salient arguments, but
no way.
It'd be weird, right? Poot, lead us off.
It'd be fucking undisputedly fucking weird. It's gonna be a contest. They're gonna make Solo look strong. Cody's not losing this belt to fucking Solo Sikoa on the night. It is 5 points. Cody Rhodes. Whoa! Solo Sikoa. And on that note, I'm gonna go fucking pee again because Vacation Poot really loves to hydrate.
Mm-hmm. Hydrate with fucking hops and barley.
Yep.
Yes.
What you got?
I like to eat my hydration. I'm in the same boat as Poot. I can't see Cody losing to Solo. I mean, unless they're really, really going to be leading into Solo as the new tribal chief, and it's going to be a big fucking to-do in Rome, even bigger than it already is going to be when Roman comes back. It's just I don't see it. I just don't. I think it can be a real slobber knocker banger fest of a match. But I would, my flabber would be gasted if Solo walked away with this belt. Oh boy, there we go. Speaking of Dominic Toretto, there's another one.
Fucking Alex Shelley's in Mordor.
Oh Lord, geez, just up and down the road. So yeah, I'm gonna say Cody 6 points. I don't think he loses it here. I don't.
Tom?
I picked the ghost of Paul Walker in Mordor for 6 points.
Yeah. Fire and brimstone. It's Kane. I mean, wait a minute. It's Paul Walker.
I can't see Solo getting this, and furthermore, they didn't really do that great of a job of building Solo up when he was with Roman, so it's not like he was like close to main title picture then. He sure as fuck isn't ready for it now. I'm sorry, like he's just not. He can sniff around. He could sniff around the main event, but he's not the guy. And man, like even looking at it, with Roman stepping away and everything like that after Mania, he was the biggest heel, and this story ran for 3+ years. And what did we get not long after Roman left? We want Roman chants. Everybody appreciates the work that Roman has put in. They really realize like how good of a job he did carrying that title and carrying the story. Even though, yeah, it had its low points and sometimes it got samey and it dragged on and they needed to revitalize it a little bit. It's just like John Cena. Like it was shoved down our throats and people started to resent it and stuff like that. But when you really step back and look at the breadth of things, like you really appreciate the body of work that.
Would you say that the fans finally acknowledged him?
Yeah, I would. All joking aside, yeah, I absolutely would. And that's why I think in this case, something's gonna happen. Number one, I think I'm just gonna put this out there. This has to main event the card, not just because it's the fucking WWE Undisputed Universal Championship, whatever the fuck, how many ever fucking surnames it has now. Fucking excuse me, like come on, it's ridiculous. But I think Roman is gonna show up towards the end of this match. Not necessarily getting involved. Like, I think he shows back up, one, to just make his presence known. Or you get Paul Heyman showing up. Something. Maybe he delivers something to one of the Tongans ringside or something like that, and it distracts Solo, and Cody's able to eke out a win. I mean, it's going to be a hard-fought thing. I really think they're really going to try to make you think that Solo has a chance and it is going to walk away with this. But I think something happens that Solo gets distracted. It causes him to match, and we set up for this bloodline civil war. Hell, fucking maybe even Jimmy Uso shows up and fucking gets his revenge on Bloodline 2.0, because let's not forget about him. I mean, like, yeah, everybody's clamoring for Roman to show back up, but let's not forget about the other Uso, and he's got a score to settle too. So either way, we gotta build back up to this Bloodline civil war. Granted, that's not been written in stone, but I mean, the fucking tea leaves, you can read them, man. Like, that's where this is heading. And I think you still got to keep that title on Cody, because you got that Cody Rock match at some point here. So all that to say, Cody Rhodes 6 points, and yeah, fuck Solo.
Let me spin a yarn for you, gents.
Oh boy, here we go.
I'll get my pick out of the way first. Cody Rhodes, 5 points for all the reasons you guys have discussed. But what if at some point before the match, either on his way down to the ring, in the back, whatever, the Tongans just kill Cody? Not literally, but like, assault him to the point where he cannot defend the title and has to relinquish it. And they're having the big fucking to-do in the ring. By forfeiture, the winner is Solo Sikoa. Here's where it gets interesting. What if Solo goes, nah, fam, it's not for me, it's for the tribal chief. Hand it over to a returning The Rock.
Oh,
I
my.
also
Solo
really
was-
love fantasy booking.
Solo
Fantasy
was
booking's
just-
a lot of fun.
Solo is just the underboss the whole time. Like, he's always just been a puppet for The Rock, who is the real tribal chief.
You're just a
I did it for The Rock.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Do you think The Rock comes back so soon, though?
Maybe.
The Rock seems like a WrestleMania and done kind of guy.
So here's the facts. All right, maybe not facts. Here are the opinions that I'll lay out. Cody's title run has been very kind of
Very
like
Adam Page.
not great. Not great at all. Which, to be fair, it was also one of the biggest like emotional releases in wrestling of all time. Right up there with Steve Austin winning the belt, I would argue, or Shawn Michaels winning the belt, I would argue.
Yeah.
Like it was,
If not more, though.
right. It was a big fucking deal. So of course, nothing is going to come close to that. But that being said, I think it's almost leaned the other way to the point where it's very disappointing. The matches have been fine. I don't think that there's been a bad match he's had yet. But it's just there's just nothing. It doesn't feel like there's anything at stake. And I think that with an injury angle like that, I think that it gives you an easy out to say, hey, he's hurt. He's going to mend up and come back and continue fighting the bloodline, because apparently that's his fucking lot in life, is to destroy the bloodline. But
Cody's a racist confirmed.
I think that Cody, I think it weaves itself nicely, because you have Solo giving tribute to The Rock, and and again you keep that like big heat on The Rock. The guy who was handed the title, never won it, was handed the title. Because again, The Rock's a likable guy, right? He's got these great catchphrases that people like to chant with him, and he's funny as fuck. Like, he's a likable guy. It's tough to make him a bad guy. That's why they've had to really lean into the whole Hollywood thing with him. But I think that this does, again, a couple things. One, it puts Cody back in the chase so that he can be the chasing babyface going into WrestleMania again. It gives The Rock more heat because, again, he won the belt without ever winning the belt. And it then furthers this bloodline civil war to where you have The Rock with Solo the underboss and the fucking Tongans versus, the real bloodline. Roman, the Usos, and Sammy. So I, I'm not saying it's going to happen. I would just be very intrigued if something like that were to go down. Would it feel a little bit cheap to end Cody's reign that way? Maybe a little bit, but I don't have a better option. And again, time is ticking. I don't think Cody loses to The Rock at WrestleMania, but at the same time, I don't see The Rock coming back for a run without being champ. So they're gonna have to get creative here. Like I said, on paper, Cody 5. If this match actually happens and goes the whole gamut, I think that Cody wins, as he should. But I think there's gonna be some fuckery. My fuckery sense is tingling. Now, I was thinking that maybe Roman's going to come back as well, but reports are that maybe Roman stays out a little bit longer. Now, again, they like to do this sometimes when somebody is coming back real imminently. They'll release a report that's like, oh, nope, they're going to be out for another 6 weeks or whatever. So who, again, fucking wrestling, right? Just something to chew on, think about. And again, if you are angling to make SummerSlam your WrestleMania 2.0, I think that having a big angle like that would help that.
Jeez.
End of fucking pontification. Again, I don't think that that's gonna happen, but man, I don't think you can write better than that.
That would probably generate the biggest pop of the night.
The Rock coming back?
Yeah, that would probably generate the biggest pop. If it goes down that way, and Solo, takes the belt and says, I want to give it to the real tribal chief. Everyone thinks that, Roman is going to come out, and it turns out to be The Rock. I'm willing to bet that will probably generate the biggest pop we have seen since Cody won the belt.
That's interesting.
I do.
You don't think that there'd be some resentment for that?
I think there would 100% be resentment if it was Roman. If Solo's like, I'm gonna give it to the real tribal chief, and Roman comes out, 100% Dominic Mysterio style boos. Absolutely.
Yeah, because we just went through that for fucking 4 years.
Yeah, but if it's The Rock, just go back and look at the cheers that The Rock got just by coming out and talking leading up to WrestleMania. Yeah, he was the final boss. He was the heel. He was the one that was trying to screw Cody Rhodes in Cody Rhodes' match against Roman Reigns. Yes, 100%. He was booked as the heel. But listen to the pops that he got when he came out. Just go back. Just YouTube it. The Rock got massive pops. People would boo at times during The Rock's monologues. Sure. But his entrance? That music hit. If you smell, wham. It was just giant pops. And I'm willing to bet the same thing happens. People are going to assume, I believe, that Solo's talking about Roman. And they're expecting Roman to come out, and they're going to get ready to boo. But then when they hear The Rock come back, because The Rock is one of those guys, man, every fucking time he comes back, he's cheered. The roof blows off the joint when he comes back all the time. And I don't think this would be any different. I think it would be a massive, massive pop. The boos will come, 100%. But I do. I think you would get the biggest pop since Cody won.
See, the only problem with all this is they're not going to throw away the main event of SummerSlam just to do a fantasy booked sort of angle like this. It's an interesting idea, but at the end of the day, there's not.
I'm not sure it's the main event though. That's the thing. I don't. To me, this match has zero heat. Like, I'm much more invested in Priest and Gunther.
Don't get me wrong, like, and this could spin into a whole nother debate that we could save for another time. But I'll put the thought in your head, so it's something we can bring up in the future, because it could go on for a while. But when you have a card, do you book your world title, or since we have 2 world titles at this point, do you book one of your world titles as your main event, or do you go based off of storylines? We've seen WWE kind of do both, actually, because they did it with the Bloodline when there wasn't a title on the line and stuff like that, because it was the big storyline, and people can agree or disagree with it. But regardless, I don't know. I don't see. I don't see how they. I wouldn't see them doing this like the thing that you're talking about like that. If Rock does come back at some point before Mania, he's absolutely gonna be on the side of Solo and the new Bloodline. I do agree with you on that. I don't see a scenario where The Rock comes back and is with, a face Roman and the Usos and possibly, the adopted Us, Sami Zayn. So I don't know. It just seems like a little bit too much on the fantasy booking side, in my opinion. That's all I'll say.
I see what you're saying. I do.
Yeah.
And this is where this I'm playing based strictly off of beef scenario here. Like it is a double-edged sword. Like if this is not the main event, I don't think The Rock comes back, because I don't think, as much as the storyline of Gunther and Damian is much more interesting, in my opinion, than Cody and Solo. I don't you're not going to bring back The Rock and have that big of a deal of The Rock, of all people, coming back, being handed the title and being the new champion, and then having another match follow that. No. If this match happens anywhere on the card other than the main event, I think it's just a regular match. And it's just going to be, Cody beats Solo, probably bloodline interference, but it'll be the match. But if this goes on last, I could see it happening, because again, we've talked so many times about how we expect things to happen a certain way, and we're not going to expect the main event of the night to end in this much chicanery, not even happening at all. Cody getting taken out backstage, them awarding Solo the belt. I don't think that happens unless The Rock comes back, because that will be something that I don't think fans expect. And I think WWE is willing to try and do something new. This would be something completely out of left field. No one expects this. So I think it could work in this instance, because so many people are going to think okay, well, Cody got beat up backstage, Solo's in the ring, people are waiting for Cody, now Solo's clamoring he's not coming out, award it to me, blah, blah, blah. And everyone's going to think, okay, it's going to be the 11th hour, and Cody's going to limp to the ring and be a fighting champion and win. But we're completely swerved in this specific instance where they award Solo the belt, but he says, no, I give it to the real tribal chief, and here comes The Rock. This is the one instance I could see a main event going down this way. Just because I think the pop of The Rock coming out would be a bigger pop than the actual match would get.
Here's the issue. I think that the 3 matches that would be likely to main event this SummerSlam, which would be, of course, the two title matches and Punk versus McIntyre. I don't think. I think it's possible that all of those matches get fucky. I don't think it's necessarily clean in any of them. I think that we see, Finn Balor potentially cost Priest the title in the main event. Well, what I would presume to be the main event. So that's the thing. Like I don't, and that's how you keep your pecking order. Mania is number one because it gives you conclusions and conclusive feelings, minus last year. And SummerSlam is like you have that same kind of like hype and intensity, but it always leaves you wanting a little bit more.
SummerSlam's almost like a popping off point.
Exactly. And I mean they've done that in the past where like things get fucky at SummerSlams and at the end of SummerSlams, and so like I mean obviously they can't all be Hart versus Bulldog at 92 or whatever. So like, but like there a lot of the SummerSlams have ended kind of like weirdly. So and again, I'm not saying that there's even a chance of that happening. I'm saying it would be interesting, and it would be kind of an easy way out of the Cody situation. Easy way to get the belt on Rock. Easy way to get heat on Rock. Easy way to make Cody a chaser again. Just easy. Almost too easy.
Sure, though, because you could even say, like, at that point, like Cody has a lot of fuel to throw towards the Rock at that point, because Cody can come out and say, not only were you awarded the quote People's Championship, you didn't win that, you were given that belt, that you carried around all WrestleMania, and now this, like, you didn't win this belt. The Tongans stole it from me and Solo gave it to you. Like, you haven't won either of these belts that you're touting around. Like, it does feed into a very interesting angle for Cody and Rock, because, Rock can say, look, I've got these two belts. Like, I'm the People's Champion. I'm the WWE Champion. Like, I am the champion. But it also leads, Cody to be able to say, like, okay, but you were given all of this. Like, you didn't win anything. Like you said, I think it's a slim chance that it actually happens. But man, if it does, it would be, at least for me, I would be super interested if it did wind up going down that way.
I would be sports entertained.
I would be sports entertained.
Finally, we're going to end with, I'm sorry, Poot. Tom, would you like to weigh in on that at all? Other than making fun of me for being a fantasy booker?
No, I already made my point. I'm good.
I mean, I fantasy book Nexus, so I can't give you shit.
I mean, that I no, like that you got like that's one of those things where I went, hey Poot, I just read the dictionary to you. Do you have any words to add? Like, and that now that's being sarcastic, but you guys made such really good points. I'm not being like snarky about fantasy booking. You guys made really fucking good points. Like, that would be really interesting, but I'm not getting my hopes up for stuff like that. It would be awesome. It would be one of those moments where, like, you unironically go, oh, shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'd
be out of my seat. Like, that's one of those moments where I'm out of my seat.
For sure. At 100% for sure. But I don't know. Like, this is one of those things that's going to sound like very dumb, but like, we'll have to see.
Yeah. You're not wrong. Because, like, man, I think it could go all sorts of different ways.
I've done it. I've excited Ransom and set him up for failure. I'm sorry, Ransom.
Well, don't worry. I'll be able to give you shit to your face this time.
You
fucking bumblefuck.
You trusted me. I was the chosen one. All right.
Bleeding your bed.
So, Damian Priest, Gunther. I
This is the hardest one for me.
I hate how this angle has played out the last 3 weeks. I was fine with it being Gunther, the King of the Ring. I'm fighting to keep the mat sacred. I don't like this whole, like, you're a street rat and you'll always be a street rat. Like, this is, I don't like it.
Well, they're face turning Damian Priest. Like,
Absolutely.
dear Lord, he's not a heel anymore.
Right, but like, I don't. I almost feel like my intelligence is insulted. I don't think you needed that. I really don't. Like, Gunther's demeanor, I think, told you all you needed. Gunther's always been very authoritarian, very totalitarian, very, like, egocentric. Like, I'm the reason that this business is thriving because I am doing what's great for the business.
The ring general for a reason.
Right. I don't think you needed to make it personal. So,
unless they really wanted to cement Damian as a face.
And I think that you had that even without, man. Like, I think that if it goes down like I think, where Finn Balor ends up screwing Damian Priest out of the title, I think you get that by proxy anyway. I just, like, man, and all that it's done for me is like you said, stoke the fire of, like, I have no idea what the fuck's gonna happen in this match.
No.
So I guess that's a good thing. Like, I guess it's taken me from, like, 100% knowing that Gunther's gonna win to, like, it's a toss-up. Oh, fuck. Who?
It's me.
Okay, well, I'll let you do your thing, Ransom. Have at it. Gunther, Priest. It's your 2-pointer. Who you got?
Like I said, this was the hardest one for me because this has a multitude of angles that it can go on. Like, for the longest time, I thought that... What?
For the longest time.
Oh.
Sorry, go ahead.
I thought for the longest time, like, it was either going to be Finn deliberately screwing over Damian or Finn inadvertently screwing over Damian. Like, I thought, come hell or high water, Finn Balor screws over Damian. And then, like you said, this angle happened. And at this point, they've gone so far, they've laid so far into the, like, I'm the high class. Like, I'm the upper class in Gunther and you're the street rat in Damian, that now I almost feel like, yeah, Cody's the son of a plumber, but I almost feel like at this point it's been done so hard with these two that Damian Priest is now the common man's champion. Like, they've turned Damian Priest into the champion of the common man. And now I'm confused on, like, does Finn Balor even factor in at this point? Is Damian so well regarded now amongst the fans as a fighting champion, as the common man's champion, as, like, the, for lack of a better term, like the people's champion, that Damian somehow overcomes Gunther and continues and, becomes this face? I just, this angle muddied the waters so much for me. Like, if it wasn't hard enough to pick before on, does Finn really screw him over? Does Finn not screw him over? Now it's like, well, does Finn even factor in? Like, does Damian just overcome his lineage, his past? Does he beat the blue blood? Oh my Lord, I have no idea. The bulk of me has to think that that the Judgment Day factors in here. Like, because of the Rhea, not Bethany, what's her name? I'm so far in the weeds now. Liv Bethany. She seems like a Bethany. Like, the Rhea Liv thing can play so much into this. Like, if Dom screws over Rhea, with Finn being so much of a face now, how can Finn, with Damien, did I say Damien? God, I'm so confused anymore. I'm so old and confused. With Damien being so much a face at this point, there's no way Damien can remain on board with Dom or Finn or a combo of both screwing over Rhea. Like, he can't, because that won't make sense for him to be, for lack of a better explanation, for him being a face now. He can't just be like, oh, I can't believe you screwed over mommy. Oh well, like, I'm Damien, yay, you cheated me. It can't happen. And I don't know if the divide there factors into this match. Like, if this goes on last, well, Rhea being screwed over has already happened at this point in the night. So there's turmoil within the Judgment Day. Fuck. The next pay-per-view is the one in Berlin. Yes, no?
In 3 weeks. Yep, it is in 3 weeks. Yep.
So, and again, there is another freaking, like, factor in this. Does Gunther go into Berlin as the champion? Or does the match get fucky because of Finn, Dominic, all of them, that somehow Damien walks out with it, but says, like, hey, I didn't want the Judgment Day interfering. It wasn't a fair match. We're having another one. And Gunther wins it in Berlin. I think it would be a bigger pop for Gunther to win it in Berlin, even though he's, not German, he's Austrian. I think it's a bigger deal for him to win it there than to go into it as champion. I don't know. I could pontificate among this for years, and I can hear blood boiling because I'm just babbling incoherently. Damian Priest. I don't know. I'm at the end of the day, I think I'm banking on Gunther winning it in Berlin and getting that ovation for him there, winning the belt as opposed to going into it as champion.
All right. Tom?
3 points on Gunther.
Sorry, Tom. I know this has been a very long, fucking babbly night on my part, and I apologize.
It's all right. I'm hitting my threshold because I actually have to go into the office tomorrow. So I'm.
Welcome to this. We are there, boys. We are wrapping currently. Man, it's been said. On one hand, yes, and I have said this many times. Gunther should have won the title for the first time in Germany, but I don't think he should lose his first title opportunity either. So, like, I'm torn. I think at the end of the day, Gunther wins. I'm going 1 point on Gunther. I'm very unsure. I just feel like he could
win in a DQ where he doesn't actually get the belt.
It's possible. That's a possible ending as well. I think that the time is now. I think that the Judgment Day coup is real here, and that Finn screws over Damien, and Gunther wins, despite all of that shit. We get the heat towards Damien and Finn. Then Gunther does something in Germany, obviously, but I don't know what. But yeah, Gunther 1 point. Putski, what you got?
Gunther, 4 points. I think it is silly to have him lose this one, even if it's a schmoz, and then win it 3 weeks later. That's dumb. That's old way of booking things. Give it to Gunther. Have him walk into his homeland with that belt and a giant fuck you pop.
I failed.
There you go.
All hail the Ring General.
Ring General indeed. All right, so there are SummerSlam picks. Good luck to all of you involved at home. But yeah, we've been talking and jabbering for some time now. So I'm gonna let Pootski take us away with a sweet velvety voice. Pootski, do the thing that you do so well.
Thanks, guys, for listening to the podcast. No, thank you, everybody, for listening to the podcast. SummerSlam is going to be a good one. Going to be a lot of fun. Make sure that you listen to all of our episodes in perpetuity going forward. Hell yeah. My brain is mush because I'm going into a vacation and my brain's going, we can relax now? Okay. And it just turns into mush. So thank you to Beef Ransom, Tiger Bomb Tom, and to myself, Boot the Bard, for being here. And I'm excited for SummerSlam. I was lukewarm on it. I'm not going to lie. I was like, SummerSlam. All right. SummerSlam's good. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. But now I'm like, man, SummerSlam, though? Mm-hmm. Let's go. Let's fucking go, as the kids like to say. And speaking of which, let's fucking go on vacation. Bye, everybody.